to be clear there. And they go for the Storm.
And now VP need to find their GPK hero. Kind of explains the Invoker ban and the Kunkka ban.
5 seconds.
There's other spirits available, Ember and Void still in the pool.
I wouldn't mind seeing any of these two, just to be able to... Like, Leash Mechanic destroys any spirit pretty much, that's why Puck is most of the time banned out. They go with the Tiny, also another hero that can just burst both of the supports. Tiny also very sustainable to burst, so... This time around, it's Tiny without a real steroid. We've seen that Tiny, most of the time, they don't do well, but if you pair him up with someone like a Magnus, like he tends to scale insanely well into the mid and late game.
Yeah, VP, they're looking to play this game off of the back of, GPK and DM. Where DM should have a good time in his lane. GPK, if he gets the ball rolling, gets that early Blink Dagger, when they pair up, there won't be much map for Vici Gaming to play into, and it's going to be on them to take a really strong defensive fight. Of course, Spectre, going into the late game here, he'll have a great time with, the Skadi, Diffusals, Mantles, and all these items, but getting there is a difficult thing. We saw earlier today how Wraith King with a couple items, like when Alliance played it, it can be so cutthroat, it can be so devastating. That's where VP, they're just fully subscribing to the idea of just play off of the GPK, play off DM's good laning phase, Wraith King couple items, go Roshan, try and end the game quite quickly.
Well, everyone using the Companion think this is going to be a pretty even series, 56% to 44%. You feeling those percentages, Lacoste?
Yeah, I'll go with the chat. Chat knows the best, so I'm gonna go with them. I kind of like the Storm Spirit, even though it's like pick into Lion, it allows them to play the side lanes really well. I like Grimstroke as a response to Timbersaw. He uses Chakram, Phantom on him, can't attack, can't really deal with that. But I'm a bit afraid for Vici Gaming for the first like 15-ish minutes. If they don't lose like 5k gold, I think they're pretty set.
Well, Eastern Europe was able to prevail earlier, and China fell even earlier than that. But now we'll see what happens when they go head-to-head with game number 1, Cap and AUI.
That's right. For this hype matchup, they brought the smartest analyst they possibly could here. We've got AUI joining me, and that's why I actually drew on the third eye. I needed that extra understanding to be able to break down this game with you, Curtis.
Thanks, Cap. You're the best.
All right, Vici Gaming versus Virtus.pro. This is obviously a must-win for Vici Gaming. You've been following the story that is happening for this last year. Vici Gaming, they are not going to be going to TI if they get dropped out right here. They need to be able to keep moving through this lower bracket, and they have a tough opponent ahead, Virtus.pro, who we were actually talking a little bit backstage. VP, they were supposed to be one of the teams who, team seeded into the playoffs, who knows how they do, but Virtus.pro was supposed to be one of the good ones.
They were supposed, honestly, I expected them to be the best. Just seeing these guys in pubs, just like talking to them, thinking about their potential as players, they looked really strong. They didn't do as well in the last major, but they had some like mitigating circumstances. This major, they played 6 games a day for like 2 weeks. They were ready, and they haven't shown it so far.
Yeah. They ended up running into Nigma, and I think they put up a good fight game 1. Game 2, I would almost say draft, left them a little bit in an awkward position. Fight over the bounties, and Vici Gaming are still going to be able to get 2 for 2, despite the moves from VP. How would you describe these the two matchups of the draft? It looks to me like, okay, a little bit more late game and pick off on Vici, while Virtus.pro is going to be very much in your face, constantly pressuring you.
In my head, I think this game is a lot on the offlaners. I think both offlaners have matchups that they should be able to pressure in. Timbersaw should do very well for Spectre A, and if they can take that tower off the first wagon and use that to defend their bot tower, I think VP's draft looks very nice to play.
It does seem like a relatively free Timbersaw game. Am I crazy in that? I mean,
they have AA, which is always a threat. I think Grimstroke's pretty good. Like, their supports are good. But if you have the items, as long as you're not going YOLO alone, like, it should always be fine for you.
Yeah.
Oh, they got 2 couriers on the ET there. That's a very nice pickup.
Dang, Kingslayer showing up and getting a decent amount of gold for his team. That's what, 250 gold?
Yeah, ET just
gold?
One of those fast 5s. He even bought the Windlace. When he gets that Spirit back to him, he just runs him down and one-shots them.
Yeah. And he's going to use the second round of the Spirit. Try and looks like secured CS. Actually going for PYW. Old 11 seeing that. Turns around, Dragon Tails him, and pushes him away, defending his support. Now, you said something that I think was pretty interesting early on. You said that Vici Gaming is very dependent on their supports. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
So I think Vici Gaming, because they've had similar support duos, or maybe it's just a DY thing for the past few years. They've always had very active supports. They would always make early mid rotations.
Trying a little bit here. Kingslayer is going to be hit by these inks. Well, he's actually going to take a lot of damage. He's going to fall here. No Fairy Fire or anything to protect him. Old 11 picks up the first blood as Kingslayer gets a bit over-aggressive.
Yeah, that's huge. I think despite the result against Nigma, Nightfall has done relatively well in all his lanes at this tournament so far. Ooh, he just stuns a range creep and it doesn't die. That's unfortunate.
That always feels bad when you use mana to try and secure CS and it gets denied anyway, and you're just like, oh god, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, it's very sad. But anyways, back to the earlier point. I think Vici supports are generally regarded as two of the best supports in China. They're very active around the map. They make a lot of moves with the mid catapult. In this game, it seems a bit harder for them to do that. They have Grimstroke AA. I mean,
there isn't that natural synergy between the two supports, right? Like for them to come together and make some plays happen.
For sure. I think generally the two most successful teams at this tournament are LGD and Nigma. And with just a few exceptions, usually they get a melee range pairing just so that you can have more map control. There's exceptions like Nigma won Rubik with double range because he sort of acts as melee hero with his ranged instant stun, and also run Enchantress with it because, you know, if you have a creep, you're basically a melee hero.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how this will turn out.
And as a result, you said they're more reliant on their cores this game, and you said it's the opposite for Virtus.pro. I mean, that is a playmaking support duo right there. Lion plus Elder Titan, like that's a lot of damage.
For sure.
Decent amount of stuns.
I think how VP's lineup functions. Mid lane
Nice
though.
toss back. GPK though, maybe tossing it back into an unfortunate position is, if anything, Ori appreciated that vantage point. Does
even with the
survive.
AA, you can see Vici supports are getting active early. You can imagine, like, maybe if they had a bit stronger support duo, they would have made that work.
Okay, so what is the... It just sounds like to me active supports are the flavor, but there's always a give and take. What is the advantage of being able to have a little bit more passive supports? What do they typically give you?
I think in this game, the advantage of your supports mid lane again, though, there's just a lot of aggression. Like, this Storm is going up with 200 HP. He's crazy.
It really is.
The benefit of these supports, I think, is that they provide a lot of burst and mid-game damage. They cover a lot of the magical damage needed, because generally, even though you have like Spectre, DK, they're sort of low damage cores, I'd say. But because of these supports, like, I don't think they'll feel it on Vici at all. To be honest, like, both drafts are pretty well-rounded. They should both be able to play Dota this game.
Smooth move by Save. The double Earth Spike into snatching away the Water Rune, which will give GPK a bit of an advantage as he grabs the other one, fill up his bottle. And Poyoyo currently being left alone against the Timber Saw, but that is kind of intended, right? There's not a whole lot that Ancient Apparition can do against a Timber Saw
It's like
anymore.
intended, but it's not a good position to be in.
Yeah.
And this Timber Saw is first man versus DM in pretty much all the DPC. He's a very scary Timber Saw player. He knows how to pressure, and he generally will play within his limits.
Yeah, this looks like one of my pubs, you know? I pick up a 5 position, I get Timber Sawed, and I'm just like, well, I can't do anything to help you anymore. My carry's yelling at me, why are you leaving the lane? And I'm like, but I can't do anything.
You just can't do anything versus some of these heroes. And this is very important for Timbersaw because he needs to take this tower early. If he does not take this tower before the AA and the Grimstroke hit levels, then he will no longer be able to aggress on the map. The lack of map control will sort of result in him having to take a bad spawn on the map, and he won't get to play the Timbersaw game.
And so we'll have to definitely keep an eye on DM and his progression in that. Meanwhile, Save. Similar situation, though it feels good for him. He's allowed to be able to roam around the map, knowing that his Timbersaw doesn't actually need him.
I wonder if they can kill this DK, though.
Yeah.
He's a very tanky hero. They might be able to do it. They're not even going to try.
Yeah, they're just going to try and zone him out right now, showing both their supports, but not actually getting a kill for it. Oh, they're actually going on the Wraith King, despite knowing that there's 3 heroes here. They do a ton of damage to the Wraith King, almost bring him down. Now here comes the turnaround, but because Nightfall's low, he can't get aggressive. It looks like Vici Gaming's, their philosophy there was, we strike first, and they won't be able to return fire.
I think that was a planned move, not even to cut a Wraith King, but just to draw the supports away from the 6-minute rune. I mean, Tiny ends up getting it anyways because they got unlucky, but because both supports were late to this rune, theoretically, Storm should have got this rune.
Yeah. And Storm Spirit getting a power rune.
Yeah, that's a really cool. It's like low risk too, right? Because this DK is just so tanky. Grimstroke's gonna cast spells from the back. That's actually, if that was intentional, that's really next level.
Yeah, that's really interesting. GPK turning around Avalanche, trying to keep Ori back, but he's going to get pulled back into the cold feet, does root him down. They have a sentry available. Throw the silence on him to make sure there's no toss. Inkswell may actually be able to get them +1 here. His save is in some trouble. They're turning around, doing a lot of damage to Ori. Ori does manage to finish off the Lion. Kingslayer slowed down by just a little bit of AoE. He's going for the kill, but time and time again, he's going to find those nasty supports, keeping them away from being able to get their first kill of the game. Vici Gaming up 3-0.
And ET was 10 mana off a Stomp there. Just sort of unlucky. He might have been able to get that Storm, but excellent slows from AA is keeping him alive.
I always feel like Ice Vortex is a rather underrated ability.
Yeah, I agree. That spell is nuts. Look at top lane. He's pressuring Poyoyo here.
Yeah, this is...
I will say though, Vici managed to defend. Oh, they're going for him.
Yeah, they really are. Ori trying to make use of his trip back to base to TP up to the top lane and kill DM, and they've got him. Poyoyo secures it with the dagger. And this is, I mean, this is a bad sign, right, Curtis? You said that, like, this Timbersaw needs to be able to take this tower before the supports get too strong, get to their level 6s, and already dying in lane. That's not going to feel great.
I didn't get to see it, but this tower's only missing 300 HP when he was solo against a Spectre. So I think DM messed up or Poyoyo outplayed him. Like maybe he baited him away from the catapult or something.
Yeah, he's 46-3
yeah,
too.
This feels wrong, right? Like Timbersaw versus AA Spectre lane. He doesn't have an Orb of Venom on Timbersaw. I think that's something I usually see on this hero versus Spectre. You ult sustain him and you click him out of lane. Poyo is very happy considering the circumstances he went into. Meanwhile, you can see at bottom, it's 8 minutes in, but they kept their wagon alive. That's a lot of pressure. If they don't respond, this tower's dead.
Can we see net worth very quickly? I just want to see if how much regen the Spectre is probably invested into. No, she's
rich.
Second on the
board.
board.
I think the AA bought everything for him. And look at his DK's net worth. He's just a beast this game. This hero has become... He's like a hero you don't think would be strong in lane, but the Neil stun is just 70 mana, 70 damage, sets up a double stun. He's so much pressure.
Yeah, it's just so hard to trade with him, right? It's just like so many of these melee heroes, you get into a little bit of right-click war, he Dragon Tail stuns you, the support does all the damage, and he does all the frontlining.
And you can see VP, they really want to take this top tower before the bottom tower dies, if you look at their draft.
Yep.
But they're not able to do it just because I think Vici just played the lanes better than them.
Nice catch by GPK if they can get it. Poyoyo dagger through the trees, and save is not going to be there in time.
Raindrop.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone buy Raindrop versus Tiny. Very good item.
Yes.
Man, Vici are playing these lanes so well. Honestly, in groups, they didn't do poorly in groups, but I was honestly disappointed because I expected more from them. How they're playing this game, I feel like they would have performed really well in groups. They're playing fantastically.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like between the two teams that came out of the wildcard group, it felt like Nigma was getting better and better, and Vici Gaming kind of like went down a little bit.
And at the same time, like it's a lot of draft stuff, right? A team can look really good if they have the right draft, and a team can look really bad even if they're the same level as the first team, just because their draft's a bit off. This game, you can see they've sort of adjusted to the meta. They have this DK that's been so popular, this AA hero, even the Spectre that Nigma has shown to be really strong. He's going to Echo Saber build. I've been building that item for 2 years. Everyone flame me. It's really good.
Shout out to the haters. Hey, I get them.
I've been building that item for so long, you know. You have our TZ. Why are you building Echo Saber? Are you stupid?
I would flame you. Why does my Spectre have an Echo Saber?
It's a really good item. No one understands. Thank you.
All right, so in that case, illuminate us as the man who pioneered this. What makes it?
I think the reason why it feels so good is because it's a fighting item that actually helps you farm a lot. How you farm neutral creeps is a lot of the time you're running between camps. So while you're running between camps, the cooldown comes up, and you get like extra hits. You farm a lot faster. It's a faster farming item than Yasha on most heroes, for example.
Okay.
Also, I mean, the stats on it are absurd now. They buffed it so many times because people refuse to believe me and never bought it. So
Spectre,
like
Spectre's always needed a mana regen
for sure,
item, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mana regen. It's 15 strength now, which makes you really tanky. Is it 15 strength now? Pretty sure it's 15 strength now. It makes you really tanky.
I'll just believe you.
Yeah, 15 strength, and I don't know. You can disassemble it later for some Orchid BKB in a clutch situation. It just has a lot of utility.
15 strength, 10 intelligence, man.
It's a strong item.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Also, the double hit, the slow on it is honestly underrated. There's a lot of heroes that can use it without even proccing the cooldown. For example, I think we saw a Pangolier with Echo Saber. On the Swashbuckler, you don't proc the cooldown, but you get slow on every hit. Same for Void Spirit. I saw Thompson going down in a pub. So this game right now, VP, their map control feels weird, I think, with their lineup. they're sort of waiting for this timing on Tiny. He's getting close to his Blink Dagger, but they can't really make any aggressive moves right now. And being against like a Spectre Storm AA lineup, that's really scary going into late game.
Yeah, that is something that in the Nigma lineup, it felt like in some ways Virtus.pro had a similar stalling out period where they couldn't pressure the Spectre enough. Inkswell combination with the Storm Spirit and an Ice Blast. Yeah, that's a dead Timbersaw right there. And Vici Gaming with a successful rotation off of a smoke.
Because this Timbersaw didn't defend bot tower, because he didn't defend top tower, he didn't take top tower early enough, it feels like he has to take really dangerous farm now in order to have any map presence. If you can imagine a situation where he took top tower and he's just sitting bottom, sort of defending his area of the map from Vici, if they dive him like this under his tower, they will turn and they'll kill all of them. He's lost alone there. He can't contribute to the game.
I kind of want to back up on that point because I think some people miss out on this. It's these offlaners that are able to take their tower first and then TP to their safe lane, and they just stand there, right? They're a wall.
They're a wall.
Oh god, is he going to die again? He just came back. Goes mid lane and is immediately going to be caught by the Dragon Knight plus Inkswell combination. Once again with the Ice Blast. They're going to turn around onto the Spectre who haunted in, but it looks like they're a little shy on damage. Nice double Dragon Tail stun off of the bound there from PYW, but they're deep underneath this tower. They are going to be able to kill Kingslayer, but at the same time, Old 11, his life is forfeit for all of this action. A 1-for-2 trade to the favor of Vici Gaming.
They didn't even bring their Storm to the fight. They drew every single VP hero there, and you can see like the power of the Vici line. They have so much burst that even if they're missing heroes, they can like rotate around, change who's the one position in terms of farm priority. Spectre has Haunt? Okay, we're gonna fight with her. Okay, Spectre has no Haunt? Okay, maybe Storm has to come this time. It's just really smooth, fluid gameplay, and as a result, they're up 2K. They're looking good on this map.
Yeah, that is an interesting concept. Because normally I would just think, okay, if my Spectre is Haunt, we just force a full-on 5v5.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would prefer that. I feel like if Storm was there, it's just like, in their head, the option to get him this faster Nyx item maybe was better. I'm not sure what they were thinking, to be honest. I feel like Nigma would have brought everyone, and it would have like resulted in the tower and everything.
No, I think, honestly, I feel like Nigma has this understanding of pressure on the mid lane that like every other team is behind right now. Something about the way that they're able to constantly collapse on the mid lane and take the opposing mid tower first seems so good. Old 11 going for it again. DM, though, wise to their tricks, and they're going to be able to get the punish, too. Nice toss back there from GPK. Throws the Avalanche as he walks backwards here to make sure that the Phantom wouldn't cause him too many issues. Vici Gaming losing their offlane initiator. Virtus.pro, though, still not feeling comfortable enough to do anything with that pickoff.
These plays from Vici, like they were playing really well earlier, but they feel so casual.
Yeah.
Like you're going to jump a hero in front of the enemy mid tower. Middle is the most accessible part of the map. If you jump someone there, you need to expect a fight. If they want to go mid, they should smoke and bring everyone.
Do you feel like in some ways Vici Gaming is being almost a little bit too lax with their advantage?
I think so. Like at first I was like, oh, the Storm idea is sort of cool. But when you said, why did Storm just come? I was just like, okay. So they would have just won that fight harder.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened. They just sort of casually jumped. Storm's not ready. They're not blowing up everything. And it's also like when those plays happen and they feel off, you tend to miss spells more because you're not used to the situation you're in. You can see like he didn't get the stun right away. It felt awkward for him. He's not sure if he wants to go.
Yeah.
But they end up going because maybe some communications breaking down or something, and it looks bad for him. All of a sudden, you lose your DK, and
Ori rounds the corner, and voila! It's save and Nightfall right there in front of you with the chain stun combination, and now all of that space that was being bought for Ori to be able to hit some neutral creeps, now that all kind of gets given away.
Yeah, and it's all related to the DK death, I think. Because when you lose a hero in Dota, it means that you have one less hero to push out lanes. So because DK's dead, they can't push out this bottom lane the way they want to. Spectre had to like dodge a smoke gank, for example. As a result, like Storm, he can't play the map the same way because he doesn't have the same amount of information. They get, I mean, VP are reading it really well, right? They're punishing when Vici make these slip-ups.
That is interesting. Their lineup really doesn't have like the best wave clear, like really efficient.
It's
right?
casual wave clear, right?
Yeah.
Like you sort of have to go there. You can't send illusions, not ghost push. Your heroes sort of have to show.
Compared to Wraith King, who he just summons
Or
skeletons,
even
they run down a lane.
Who like you need to bring a lot of heroes to kill him. I think any of the heroes on Vici, except maybe Spectre, should die to like a Lion Tiny with Finger Out.
All right, Vici Gaming looks like they're going to make more of a 5-man rotation. The Spectre is ready to go. Just going to be farming up a hard camp, but the Haunt is ready. And the Dragon Knight starts doing that thing where you just keep on applying the poison to the mid-tier 1 tower.
This feels casual too, though. Like it's 60 minutes in, it's pretty late. If you come hit mid-tower, the enemy is going to bring everyone.
No,
I think they should have taken a better position. We'll see how the fight goes, though.
And it certainly seems like Vici Gaming, in some ways, are trying to poke Virtus.pro and see how they respond.
Maybe they clicked on the Wraith thing, they see he has a Relic but not Radiance yet, so like, okay, let's force the issue.
I was going to ask you about that item build. We haven't seen like a lot of Radiances. I feel like we've seen a lot more Armlet Deso builds. Back to the Radiance, why?
I mean, he has tiny Timbersaw cores, so I think Radiance is correct. I think if you look at the lineup, the one redeeming factor is that if Wraithen gets Omega farm this game, he is the hero that can he can stand in front versus AA Storm, where no other hero in the game can.
Okay. So it's more about just farming speed for him, the Radiance.
It's like farming and team fighting. Radiance is, when you open the damage tabs after a fight, Radiance is always like the highest damage hero/item. It's very understated how much it affects a team fight, and oftentimes you can't even see where like it gave you tankiness because it caused misses.
3-7, but that net worth lead that Vici Gaming had managed to obtain early on has begun to slip a bit through their fingers.
Yeah, it feels a bit like Vici. They made really good moves early, but they never brought everyone, like stomped on their lead, sort of flattened the enemy team when they had the timing on them. With that said, like VP, look at these wards they're placing. They're very nice and defensive because they've recognized the state of the game. If we can delay for this, wait for our Wraith King timing, maybe we will be the ones like in control of the game, have a situation where we can win. Look at this, they're even smoking out. The Radiance is coming on the courier, they're already smoking mid.
Virtus.pro recognizing
a
huge power spike, but at the same time, Vici Gaming, they also smoke. They're playing the right-hand side behind this tower after yet another Dragon Knight casual push here, and he's going to be caught, no doubt, but he does manage to get the tower before he dies. Hold 11, it's going to get blown up pretty quickly, but a nice ice blast into the back line. Looks like Ori is going to be able to assassinate Save as well. Two of the front lines die, and they've lost their support. Timbersaw, Kingslayer, Nightfall, that's all that's left in this fight. Now, say goodbye to Kingslayer. Now the two tanky boys. Save with a buyback is going to be able to come in and execute Poyo with a nice finger of death. So, things do even out a bit more. Vici Gaming losing their carry, that one's going to hurt a bit.
I think overall, not bad for VP. I would say trading a support buyback this early for killing their carry is probably worth it. Also, they get the Lion stacks, infinite scaling, very important in Dota.
True.
It does hurt a bit because you do want your Lion to get to that Blink Dagger.
Yeah. Man, that was a really nicely executed move by Vici Gaming, but it just feels like it was such a big power spike, right?
It was.
Radiance.
They were so strong. And honestly,
nice pickup, they can get it. DM hit by the Ice Blast. The Phantom is on top of him, so he's dead. Vici Gaming building up that lead again.
I've never seen DM really have this many deaths on Timbersaw. He plays a lot in pubs. It's usually not like this. I think, again, like, the thing is, you can make like a small micro mistake in the lane, and how it snowballs and compounds through the game can make you look a lot worse. Oh, mid lane though.
Cold Feet into Dragon Tail, and Old 11 walking away, throws out the fire, and keeps trucking. DY is going to be traded out by GPK. Both the sports dying here.
That is his buyback timer death, so that's 60 seconds. And I was trying to mention before, these guys kept repeatedly killing each other very quickly. The one thing about that mid fight was that you do want your line to get to that Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
If you had to choose a support to buyback, it would have been ET, but you know, can't always choose that.
Yeah, sadly.
Ooh, good snag on the haste rune from DK there. VP would have really liked that. They could have stored in the bottom and hit the timing right when Lion survived. Would have coincided right with the reincarnation cooldown as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, he had level 2 reincarnation, right? When he died, so
yeah, he did.
It's coming back pretty quickly.
Trying to think of what's the next timing VP want to fight? Because I wouldn't feel comfortable sitting around this game. I feel like Spectre Storm eventually you're going to mess up. Like, you're going to step out of position, and there's so many jumps, it's going to be hard to play. Also, like as we've seen repeatedly this game, Timbersaw can't play Timbersaw Dota. He just gets killed by one hero plus AALT.
Yeah. It definitely, the thing you said about like the small mistakes kind of putting you off your game, you could definitely see that from DM. He's used to being able to sit in front of his safe lane tier 1 tower, be the aggressor, be able
10 seconds for Haunt.
Farm out top. Haunt coming in.
3 seconds now, actually.
Virtus.pro really want to be able to even out and take this mid tower. Spotted out. Grimstroke, they're going to be able to blow him up first. PYW just needs one more hit, but it looks like GPK has failed to be able to get it. The Magic Wand keeps him alive, and now GPK is in trouble. At the same time, Old 11's copped a lot of damage off the Wraith King in the second life, but look at that. They've actually got the illusion. Poyo, he's going to be nailing this Timbersaw until he eventually falls. Virtus.pro, things are just not going right for them, AUI, as now Old 11 actually being able to find the extra pickup. They're going to buy back on the Timbersaw here, knowing that this team fight is a bit of a disaster, but actually turned around. So much damage coming out for the Timbersaw, plus the fact they have the Finger of Death to take out the Storm Spirit, but Nightfall eventually is going to die and doesn't have a reincarnation. Back over to the Dragon Knight. Chakram will finish him up. Save, hoping that he can be protected by the Timbersaw, but there's not much a Timber can do. Support's kiting him around. Oh no, threw out the Chakram. That means this Phantom, it's not going anywhere. It's going to latch on top of him. The Ice Blast is back, and excuse me? PYW is godlike.
PYW has a 20-minute eggs and he's godlike. What's happening?
I'm just sitting there going like, there's a Wraith King illusion.
Yeah.
He's got an Aghanim
He has
Scepter.
an
What the
Aghanim
hell?
Scepter at 20 minutes. He completely changed that fight.
Oh
VP
my
thought they were
God.
strong. They have the Sange and Wraith King. They have the second life, Radiance. They probably mistimed that haunt a bit. I think they wanted to do that move a bit early, but they were not expecting this.
No, certainly not. I mean, that's going to feel... I mean, now that Radiance,
Yeah, he has a Radiance.
it feels bad.
I think Wraith King's one of the best illusion targets in like apart from Radiance, just because you always get that first crit off. This Dark Portrait, it does 150% outgoing damage, so it's more damage than the Wraith King.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not because it's plus damage from Radiance, but it's a lot of damage.
Sure. I mean, you combine the fact that he has this extra Radiance, he's going to have an Inkswell on top of the illusion that's running at people. Like, this is something that is going to be killing support.
No, it's going to be
constantly.
crazy. And I think the eggs, his build just made him really tanky there as well, right? They jumped in with Tiny, they had an ET Spirit on him, it's an Echo Saber Tiny. He thought he would one-shot the support, but PYW just survives and turns the fight.
I mean, I thought that as an observer. I was like,
yeah,
okay,
we have all the info.
GPK, PYW, he's dead. And then I'm just like, wait a minute. How is he still alive?
Ooh, save, he's setting up. He has his Blink Dagger ready, but he can't solo kill the Storm. He needs more.
Yeah, he needs help.
And you can see Storm, he's going Kaya Sange into a BKB. He understands that his role in this game is just to create chaos. Just kill whoever they find with this haunt, and him and A are going to pick off anyone. A has a Holy Locket too. These supports on Vici are so farmed.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you said at the very start, Vici Gaming, their supports are usually very important to them, and it's because, I mean, this duo, they have impressed me so much throughout this the season of the DPC.
And look at this. They have Haunt. They have Manta and Spectre. They're ready to go again.
Yep. And they're going to look for something. 8-18, 6,000 net worth lead for a Spectre lineup. Vici Gaming, even though they could probably just sit back and be happy, content with the state of the game, they're still looking to make more plays, be the aggressors, keep Virtus.pro stumbling backwards. Enter into the triangle, not finding anything there. They spot Nightfall, but of course a Wraith King, maybe not your best target to open up on. So instead,
I actually really like this. They smoked, and sometimes it's okay to do a bad smoke. It's not okay to do a bad smoke and just see an enemy and jump because you're like, oh, we need to do something.
You just force it. Right? You're like, oh, we spent a smoke. We have to get a kill, right?
It happens all the time. Like, it's okay to mess up a gank. It's okay to just accept a mistake and go for a higher percentage play later. Oh, are they running up this? They're going to run in full vision.
Nightfall is just going up there, but at the same time, Dragon Knight, he's already jumped. Kingslayer's just dead right off the bat. Now the Storm Spirit's going to be able to grab GPK here with an Ice Blast on top of him, and they've got the Soul Bind. This Tiny's going to take out. They're just losing cores here. So much of the back line is just being disrupted by this Storm Spirit, and eventually, Nightfall can be left for last. Oh, save. They're going to be able to find one more, or he still had plenty of mana, apparently, so he finds save on top of the 3 kills that they had already gotten just outside of the Roshan pit. So hello Aegis as well.
You know, I talked about like DK casually hitting the tower. That was literally an entire team casually walking up a hill into vision. Like, that would never work. They didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think, like on replay reveal, like I don't think they'll think that could potentially even be a good play. That was so weird.
Have you heard Kyle's song?
What's his song?
The song is just that. It's him saying, "Don't walk up the high ground with no vision." That's
a good
his
song.
That's a good song.
That's
right?
a very good song. You can see on this replay, like DK, he just gets a jump on the Elder Titan and the fight's over.
Yeah. Like Elder Titan gone. GPK, like, he just gets comboed by the Storm Spirit into an Ice Blast. He's immediately dead.
The Scrimstroke has more network than the Timbersaw, and he's closing on the Tiny. He's double stacking camp, so he gets a gold. PYW this game has just been a monster.
Yeah, seriously. And now he's going to look for Ether Lens now, Eon Disc later. So now he's got an increased range, but he also knows that he needs to protect himself against the jump from the Tiny, because in many ways, like, he damage to HP ratio, like, this guy outputs a lot for
he does
1900 health.
I mean, if you look at this game, VP have no win condition unless they kill the Grimstroke in fights.
Yeah.
I can't see how they do it. And I don't think they have the tools to do it right now. They need to play side lanes right now. But how do you play side lanes against a DK Storm Spectre, even with this AA Blast?
Now, Curtis, in your judgment of this game, do you feel like Virtus.pro is underperforming? Because maybe it's land, maybe it's jitters, whatever it is, or do you feel like Vici Gaming is just playing really, really well?
Vici Gaming are definitely playing well. VP are underperforming compared to the expectations I had of them.
Yeah.
Maybe my expectations were slightly too high, maybe they're not. Like, there's a lot of factors, right? Maybe one person's just not feeling well today.
Yeah.
It's very easy for something to happen. Maybe they couldn't sleep. You know, maybe the cleaning lady knocked on your door and woke you up the day of your match. That always happens for some reason. Do not disturb signs don't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm both impressed with Vici and disappointed that the VP that I expected doesn't seem to be showing up.
Yeah. Particularly since, you know, the word was Virtus.pro, they were doing really well in scrims going into this event. Seems like they were botting everyone. Ori finds an opening, another soul bite, latching between the Tiny and the Timbersaw. They're both gonna get silenced, and maybe DM can make it out alive here as he finally kills the Phantom. But the important hero, GPK's Tiny, the initiator, the big damage dealer, the guy who's gonna be killing this Grimstroke, he dies at the start of every single fight.
I feel like there's a reason why Tiny has like a 20% win rate this tournament. Oof. Like this hero, like what could he do this game? I don't even know. I mean, there's a lot of, I guess there's some small things, right? Like when he got his blink timing, they kill Timbersaw mid, and it ruins VP's timing, but they're still going.
Still gonna go for this Wraith King, turns around, okay, they've got a buyback off this, and when it looks like Vici Gaming maybe have overextended, they've lost Poyo. Ori is in right now, but Nightfall still has the last bits of his BKB. Running strong, now going for the Grimstroke. They know PYW is worth a lot of gold right now. Whoever gets that one is gonna get almost 700 gold for that bounty. GBK sees that Ori is very low on mana here. He's got maybe one little small zip left, so Virtus.pro, they could just keep running if they want to. Turns around and actually stalls up GPK by grabbing him there.
I think they got him though.
With the Vortex, but he's gonna blink forward. Avalanche toss backwards into some of his allies, and then, yep, he's dead. Life number one. Can he time the stomp here? Kingslayer's gonna go for it. Stomped. Follow up, Earth Spike, didn't even see save was there, so of course they've got him. Plenty of disables are left there. And Virtus.pro, just off of a clutch buyback and a bit of an overextension from Vici Gaming, just like that, they're kind of back in the game.
Yeah, Wraith King's actually 2,000 gold above Spectre now. I thought VP, like, how they took fights or map state looked bad, but they got an excellent punish there. One thing that should be very good on this team because of how fast they are in pubs and just how high MMR they are is if you mess up, they should punish you very quickly, and we saw that there.
Yeah, 19% win rate for the Tiny at the WePlay AniMajor.
Maybe a bit higher after this if there's a big comeback.
Maybe off of 21 games. So it's certainly not a sample size issue. I feel like most of the time that I've seen this hero be successful, it's been specifically when it's picked mid against Puck.
Yeah, that makes sense because he's a decent lane versus Puck, and you can catch the Puck, right? You have that instant stun. I feel like he's not really enabled too much by support. Maybe he is. I don't know. It just something feels off about the hero to me. I can't really quantify it.
Yeah. Well,
Wraith King's going for the Silver Edge. Seems good this game. Spectre and DK.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we'll see GPK go for like a small crit into an Aghanims. They should feel like they're lacking a bit of damage. They need to make themselves more of a threat so that they can't just jump the supports and win the fight.
Yeah.
Right now it feels like if ET dies, the fight's over.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what happened last fight, right? They were over aggressive because Tiny was dead. They jumped, but they didn't get the Outer Titan, which they should. They have Spectre and Storm. And then because of that, like this hero's able to stomp and turn around the fight.
Virtus.pro looking to keep this momentum going here. As they 4-man smoke off. Radiance off. Get some vision in the triangle, so even if this smoke doesn't work, they may still be able to find a good team fight to come. At the same time, Vici Gaming, they may walk into this one. If Virtus.pro is in the right position, they could break it on the high ground, but they won't. Old 11, charging forward, turning into the Dragon immediately. There goes the Haunt. They're going to smart some of the members. They see Save. He's immediately going to be orking it up. He's definitely dying. The stop attempted by Kingslayer, interrupted by Ori. He makes sure that both the supports are going to die now. And Nightfall, he has to go for the BKB, teleport out. This fight was a disaster.
Yeah, a bit unlucky where they popped that smoke. Wraithking managed to even guard his supports with that Radiance and the Shadow Blade, but you see the ET, you jump to ET. There are no saves on the VP side. Honestly, like maybe Wraithking needs an eggs or something to win these fights, because you can't win these fights unless your supports get spells off.
Yeah. No, that may not be a bad idea. I mean, Elder Titan's probably one of the most valuable
for
heroes.
sure. Oh, actually, you can just stand beside them and the full aura applies. I mean, at the same time, like Wraithking does need to 1v5 this game in terms of items. So I mean, it's hard to get this Aghanim Scepter.
Sick read there by Ori, spotting Kingslayer
really good
in all that chaos and grabbing him before the stomp.
I mean, that's the Spectre Storm combo. It's a bit of what I was scared of for VP. If you go into late game against this combination, they always get to choose their jumps.
Trying to clear out the creep wave. Stomp, dodged by Poyoyo's Manta. And they are going to be chased away, but I don't think Vici Gaming is going to be too sad about that. Aghanim Scepter now for Old 11. We saw the Black Dragon in action last team fight, and he's just able to continue his job of just kind of barreling in.
And look at PYW, he's made the adjustment. He's not going for this Aeondis because he understands that how the team fights are going, he's not going to get jumped. Instead, he's going with Force Staff. With this Force Staff, it'd be really easy to get like a ulti and a double Dark Portrait, even on like some tiny plus Wraith King. If he gets an ET plus Wraith King, that would be insane.
Why Force Staff over Blink Dagger?
I think at the same time, because his heroes are frontlining, if they can jump in, maybe he values to save more.
Sure.
I mean, he has a lot of cast range, so you don't need the full Blink range, I would say. I mean, I'm not too sure, but I can understand the logic with Force Staff over Blink.
Yeah, it's one of those just middle ground items.
Gives you a
Kinda
little
help
bit
you
of
with
HP
initiation.
too.
Yeah, sure.
That change is pretty nice with it.
Yeah, that is nice actually.
Oh man, and Spectre has BKB, Storm has BKB, DK has BKB. There's just going to be the Golden Armada. They're just going to run at your supports, and there's nothing you can do to save them right now.
How do you play that as a support? When every single team fight you're going to get haunted and immediately jumped by both the Spectre and the Storm Spirit, like, you just don't get to play Dota? That's it?
You know, I was watching this game 2 in the group stage, TNC versus EG.
Okay.
And Fly was playing AA against like a Spectre and like a lot of jump. I actually thought he should sit in the fountain and TP in after Haunt was used. I don't think it's... Oh, they're going though.
Oh, they do manage to get the initiation first this time around. This time on the Dragon Knight, but he managed to get out the BKB after the Finger of Death, and Saber's already dead. Elder Titan orchid it up is also in trouble. Even though he has the Ghost Scepter, he's very likely to die. And first life already gone for the Wraith King. He's going to come back with hell to pay. Ice Blast over the top of things. And this time around, he actually doesn't feel comfortable going for the TP out. I think he was hoping for maybe to be able to Shadow Blade away, but no.
And PYW, he wasn't touched. He didn't lose a single HP that fight. So I think not going for the Aeondis was the right choice. It's just so hard to fight. Like realistically, if you look at VP's lineup at this stage in the game, you're not going to win a fight on even terrain. You cannot fight in the enemy jungle like that. There's no way. The only place you can fight is somewhere with buybacks near one of your towers. So hypothetically, I think keeping the ET in base for the Spectre Haunt, as stupid as it sounds, might be the best way. Or if he has buyback, you just bait his buyback out and then you reset. That's what happened in the mid-tier 2 fight. But it's looking rough. Like I don't quite understand their win condition right now.
Yeah, it's a terrible position to be in, because what you're saying is basically they need to be able to play on their side of the map, somewhere near towers, TP points, but at the same time, they're the ones with worse late game. They're the ones who have to concede up a Roshan, which is kind of game-winning for Vici Gaming. So damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
I mean, you're down 17k with Roshan disadvantage versus, as you said, a better late game draft. You have to take a risk somewhere, or just hope the enemy team messes up.
Yeah.
This is like one of those games where it's pretty much unwinnable, but we've all won these types of Dota games before. You know, people are human. They will mess up. You might outplay them. You can clutch a situation, and it's a major. Like, you should go for that opportunity.
Yeah. And Virtus.pro, on their side of things, the reason they're pushing out constantly is they're thinking about it in the, well, if our supports are going to die anyway, we should try and get the initiation first, right?
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. If they managed to burst a DK there, maybe it could have been a good fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so, but maybe.
Yeah, maybe if they ran into a different hero, maybe if they run into the supports or Storm.
Maybe some supports going on a warding journey. And like I'm saying, like, it's not a good fight, but I can appreciate they're taking that risk.
Yeah.
They're not just sitting back and like, I don't know. It's just so hard to play. Ooh, he's...
Holy cow. All right. That is the Illusion and the Dragonite, killing Nightfall's first life and forcing him into a BKB on the second life. And, well, both the Haunt Illusions and the actual Illusion of the Wraith King chase everybody else away. Vici Gaming not going to get anything for that. Maybe there is an opportunity somewhere in that as the Dragon form wears out. Maybe Virtus.pro could do something. But again, they'd be fighting into Aegis.
I think they're pretty chill waiting on Vici. They use Haunt for that. Yeah. And they didn't feel like the position was good enough to commit. I'm pretty sure they had talk. If we don't jump to supports, I don't care if the fight looks good. Let's just wait for a better opportunity. We're ahead. We get to pick our fights, play the highest percentage.
Upgrades. We have the Shard now picked up for the Ancient Apparition, so a little bit of pushing power from him. Maybe blink canceling, who knows. Abyssal Blade now for the Spectre, so even worse life for the supports. They show and they instantly get stunned, and that's that for them. And then also Ori having an Aghanim Scepter, so look out for that big team fight wombo combo from him. Level 25 on the Spectre, 5% dispersion. The list kind of goes on and on and on about Vici Gaming. They were winning fights 15 minutes ago, 15 minutes later, and they're like incredibly strong, overpoweringly so.
The nice thing about Dota is, as long as you have stuns, you can technically clutch every situation.
Sure.
And what VP does have is a lot of single target lockdown. If they have to stun someone alone beside the ETR, like they'll kill anyone. So maybe some hope there. Maybe that's what they're trying to bank on.
Tier 4 items are out. Virtus.pro all sticking together a bit as they just try and get anywhere out there on the map. DY chilling with his spider legs, just being a ward in this situation.
They have Roshan for another 2 minutes. Haunt's up in 30. I think they're pretty much just going to wait for that and then go ham.
Yeah.
With Spectre.
It's funny because they spot GPK and stuff, but they don't even like try and rush at him or anything. They respect the fact that Virtus.pro is still a team that can win fights. Oh my god, that was a long TP. But yeah, they respect him enough and they're saying, okay, let's just wait until we get Han up, guys. Let's not, you know, half-ass this.
Yeah, the last time we sort of lost respect, we dove a tier 2 mid and got them back into this game.
True, true.
At the same time, I think they should go with this Aegis. There's a minute, 30 seconds left. You have Haunt, you have everything. It's go time.
If they do give enough time for GPK to actually get an Aghanim Scepter, that will be a problem for them ending the game. High ground Tiny throwing a bunch of trees around.
There's playing safe and waiting for the right fight to get the highest percentage fight you can, and there's waiting so long that you're sort of giving them the opportunity for either you to mess up or for them to like get a really good situation.
Yeah.
I think at this point, Vici is sort of falling into the latter category.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same, they're 23k up. It's a major, nerves on the line. They really want to win this game, so
an elimination match.
I mean, Vici need to win this match to qualify for TI too, right? It's not even just a major at stake here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This DK is beefy. Look at him.
Yeah.
4,000 HP with a Minotaur, a BKB, and an AC.
Yeah, doesn't the Aghanim Scepter give you like, what, 40% magic resistance or something like
ridiculous.
That? Yeah,
I don't even know.
Number.
It's like 40 or 65. I think it might
us.
ends up. Okay, I can check over here. It's bugged and it doesn't show me because he's not in Dragon form. It's not bugged. I'm just dumb and can't read.
Yeah, it won't tell you until...
I'm waiting. So the Aegis is about to time.
He jumps in, inks well. He's going to be able to get a Chain Stun, may even be able to kill Kingslayer off this. Kingslayer getting for the stomp, but they've already lost save. He immediately buys back. He's now been tossed back by GPK. They're trying to get this Elder Titan out, but they also need to be able to save their carry. Nightfall's in trouble. Kingslayer, Ori trying to get those last couple of hits in. A bash from Poyo is able to finish him off. Now they start retreating, though, knowing that more buybacks are coming in. The toss back into the fountain. Poyo! Oh, his Aegis was just about to expire. Whoa, what a jump in from Ori! Inside of the fountain he goes for it to make sure that Poyo is able to get out of range of another toss back into the fountain again. Ori, though, used so much mana in doing that little bit of nonsense that he ends up dying. Nightfall kills him off with 1100 damage crit. And now they're chasing for more. Nightfall has his own illusion to contend with, but he does have the reincarnation. Poyo is going to be able to dispatch him pretty quickly. That's life number 1. Old 11 dealing with the support. Save's already dead. Die back for him. DM caught in the soul bind, not able to get away, but that's going to free up Nightfall as soon as he dies. But Nightfall, it actually isn't even the Spectre. Half the time it's this damn Grimstroke illusion.
That Wraith King just killed 4 heroes. I think it did 8,000 damage that fight. I'm not even kidding. 8,000 damage.
Oh my god.
What just happened?
I mean, without a doubt, we know who our MVP was for that game 1. PYW. What a monster on the Grimstroke.
No, he was insane. Honestly, a little bit undisciplined from Vici at times, but they look pretty smooth this game overall.
Yeah.
They came in with good strats, and that bottom lane, that DK was fat.
Yeah. They've kind of figured out their bottom lane, that's for sure. I feel like that was a bit of a problem there for the Nigma series as well, was that they were losing their safe lane versus off lane matchup. And it was just mind control, and GH ran away with that laning phase and inevitably ran away with the game. And yeah.
Nightfall does not look happy right now.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, I think one of the strengths I've heard them talk about in interviews is that they'll be very direct with each other, and because of that directness, they're able to arrive at conclusions quickly. I think they are the team that should be able to come back from this, but honestly, my expectations of them, they're not matching right now.
Yeah, they certainly are. And I think there is something to say about the fact that, you know, conflict resolution, we get through these things quickly, there's no hard feelings, and I feel like you can say that, but it only goes so far until you're in situations like this, where you're at a LAN, where you're at TI, that, yeah, sure, when you're winning, when you're the best team in the region, when your TI invite is already secured, like, you can shrug those things off and, okay, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. We yelled at each other, no big deal. But later on, the impact of some of these matches are just going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, for sure. And these guys, they're young, right? They're all 19, except for DM. They're
21.
Old boomer. Yeah, 21 years old. It's almost in the grave. So
yeah,
let's see how they bounce back.
All right. Well, let's see what Virtus.pro is able to pull together going into game 2. But of course, we got to check in with our analysts.
Thank you very much, Cap and AY. Indeed, time to talk about this game. Vici Gaming seemed to have all the tools the whole game long, Lizard.
They had all the tools. They dissected Virtus.pro in individual small little pieces and found answers to every single thing. Virtus.pro, by the way, they didn't play a bad game per se. They did fall apart somewhere in the mid game, but how can you not fall apart when you're playing versus a Grimstroke that's 9-0-6 at some point? He's rushing that agony.